best station in music news, sports, and entertainment. We are High Power 102.7 FM, the pride of the people.
High Power 102.7 FM. Imunyagan Imunya.
It's young to the beginners.
Yes, a very beautiful morning out there, and welcome to another edition of Political Perspective, your platform for informed, balanced, and thought-provoking conversations on issues shaping our nation. My name is Florence Ibhareman, and today we're looking at the matter that affects every Nigerian, regardless of tribe, religion, and region, which is the matter of insecurity. From banditry to terrorism, kidnapping, communal clashes, the question on everyone's mind, of course, the question on the lips of every Nigerian at this time is, what is really the solution to Nigerians' insecurity? What can be done differently? Now, one of the top questions on the minds of Nigerians, on the lips of Nigerians is it better policing? Like, yes, is state policing the next line of action, or stronger leadership, economic reforms, or even a complete restructuring of our security system? Today we shall be exploring all these angles in one powerful conversation. So please stay with us as this is Political Perspective. Yes, welcome back. The program is Political Perspective on your darling station iPower 102.7 FM. And today we're looking at what really is the solution to Nigerians' insecurity. Let's take a back look at the reality of what we have today. Nigeria has faced persistent attacks from groups like Boko Haram in the northeast, while banditry continues to plague a state in the northwest. Kidnapping for ransom has become widespread, and communities in some part of Plateau, Benue State continue to experience violent clashes. These are not isolated incidents; they are patterns. So now there's a rising question about how security is managed. So today we'll also be looking at how security is managed and what can be done differently. As always, we have our in-house analyst in the house in person of Akin Adebayo. Good morning, Akin.
Good morning. This morning, thanks for having me on the program today.
I hope the weather is not giving you any funny remark or any funny feeling.
I think the only funny feeling the weather giving at the moment is a kind of relief, at least from the hot temperature, from the dust and what have you. So I think the weather is very welcoming.
So it came timely.
Very, very timely, yeah, very timely.
That's good to know. So glad to have you on the program.
Pleasure is mine.
Like I said today, as regards the topic for today, what is really the solution of Nigerians' insecurity? But I want us to come from the angle of is state policing the solution to Nigerians' insecurity? Like, of all the areas and angles to look into regarding insecurity in Nigeria, is state policing the solution to Nigerians' insecurity?
Thank you very, very much. To our listeners, they must have been wondering, why does it appear we've been discussing almost the same topic all this while, and for the past ones we've been discussing it? Of course, there are other topics that can be discussed, but unfortunately, as it is now, this issue of insecurity is what we will continue discussing. Because as we are trying, like Yoruba goes does, by saying give one look, by saying give one look, not to borrow our is it how that person around. You understand? As we are trying to like, okay, avoid the issue of insecurity, but unfortunately it keeps on persisting. Take for instance, I think about 2 weeks ago, some guys went to an health center and arrested or kidnapped them, say abducted maybe 3 persons, and transferred their money from their account to an unspecified account as we speak till date. On Saturday, you understand? As we speak till date. Now, this is another part of insecurity, and it is taking another dimension because those people, they are not kidnappers from what you put together. According to what the narrative by one of the victims said, he said they came in a Venza that they spoke English, they spoke Yoruba, they only spoke in Igbo. So which means that this weren't the conventional, I wouldn't say conventional, this weren't the normal kidnapping incident we have. It was more of an armed robbery because they were not taken for like a day or 2 days. No. Immediately the money was transferred, they set them free. So which simply means that some people are now leveraging, they're now predating on the state of insecurity to now perpetrate some other heinous crimes. Like armed robbery of a thing. And look at, for instance, now, what just happened recently in Jos, whereby a mother held her son, and the son died right there in her very arms, or so to speak. And that is just few of the incidents we've been having all this while. What are we now saying? So that is why the issue of insecurity, I must be sincere with myself, will be a discussion that we will continue discussing. But unfortunately, it seems our leaders are not looking at it the way it should be. But of course, like the question you asked, like state policing. Look, state policing, to the best of my knowledge and understanding, is the way forward.
You know, there are different angles to this state policing issue because for some, they've argued that state police security is local. So, hence, states understands the terrain better. You understand? And also, it fosters, it helps to protect and give better response to threats. Now, people are arguing that if it becomes an issue of state policing, won't governors misuse the power? And won't there be lack of proper oversight and also the risk of political oppression?
Well, one thing is this: why not let us? There's a saying that goes us: when we get to the bridge, we will cross it. Now, the issue on ground is not the issue of maybe governors abusing policing, not the issue of maybe oversight. No, we are talking about, look, if government want to oppress anybody, it's to their fellow political opponents. Now, let us now put it side by side. What is the number of political opponents compared to the citizens or the indigents of each state? It's ratio 1 to 200, if I'm not mistaken. So they are minority. We should not deceive ourselves. So we're not talking about state security. We are not talking about, look, if the government let him withdraw the political, it's not for our business. We that we are not into politics as a political opponent, we are far more than those that are into politics. We are just electoral. We can just go out there to vote. I may decide even not to vote. Of all the people that have been kidnapped so far, have you ever heard that the political opponent has been kidnapped? That the politician has been kidnapped? No. The people that are falling victim of these things are the nominal, maybe market women, farmers, people that goes about their own personal wares and stuff like that. Or personal business rather. Do you understand? So if the government, look, we should not start placing the cat before the horse. What comes first is the horse before the cat. What comes first is the security of life and property. Politicking is secondary. We shouldn't take it serious. What by business if the government begins to use it to torment political opponents? Maybe they are there. If the opponents are there, won't they do the same? But the issue now is this: we, the citizens that are not even into policy, that we go about our normal business, are the one bearing this brunt the most. So the issue that all those narrative doesn't work here. It's not applicable, no matter how much they try to paint it. It's not applicable. The governor sworn to an oath that is going to protect the life and properties of his people. is enshrined in Section 2 of the Constitution. Fundamental directive and state policies of state fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policies. Fundamental objective and directive principles of state policies. Section 2 of the Constitution captured it. What are we now saying? So enough of all these should I say unpalatable. Look, okay, the money that is being given to these governors as security vote that is drawn into billions, what are they doing with it? They're giving money for security vote, and the federal government is still paying the money of the various security architectures all over the nation. Okay, how many times as Amotekun, for instance, okay, if I'm not from the east, then I'm from the north, from the southwest and Ondo State in particular, Amotekun has been in existence now for a reasonable number of years. How many times have this been reported that Amotekun has harassed a political opponent or a politician? No. So they should stop all this narrative, and the governor should think of how to provide security for our citizens. How can we have one directive from Abuja, Nigerian Navy, Abuja, Nigerian Army, Abuja, Nigerian Police, Abuja? A governor cannot even tell a corporal, do this for me. You will tell you, I will take direct from Abuja. What are we talking about? God raised the son of Akeredolu when he was Malami, because Malami was hell-bent. Then Malami was then the AGF, Attorney General of the Federation. He was hell-bent that this Amotekun will not see the death of the day. But thank God that Akeredolu was a lawyer, and not just a lawyer, a senior advocate and a human rights activist that knows his onions. And he told Malami, look here, Amotekun has come to stay. As far as I remain the chief security of my state, then I am in the right position to provide security for my state. And this man went all out there and he established Amotekun, and that was when other states followed suit. It's not an example. So this thing begins to baffle me when a professor, I'm sorry to mention his name, of course not even sorry to mention his name, it's a fact. Professor Bagana Zulum of Borno, that is the theater act of these insurgents, could come out and say that states are not ripe for state policing. It rattles me. I won't say it baffles me. It said that states are not ripe or are not matured for state policing. And that brings about the question of, it seems these people are not the same. It seems our reasoning is completely different. If Babagana Zulu was not educated, I wouldn't have been bothered. Babagana Zulu was not just educated, he is a professor that knows better. A professor that should be able to enlighten his people and the government better on state security. And recently we know what happened in Borno now. And this same man is coming out to say, which means that look, I just don't know how to paint it. There is more to this issue than what the eyes can see. If a professor, it rattles me, could come out and say that. So what are we talking about? Okay, because you see, you are doing the same thing the same way, and you are expecting a different result. It will not happen. You will continue to have the same result. All this while we've been having the various function in Abuja and what have you. What has been like in this point I read in Punch, about 2.7 trillion has been allotted to the various ministry agencies from 2023 just within 2 years. What happened to this money? And this same country we see American, European, and British government sending us various military equipment. So what's really going on? It's like some people are feeding fat. Yes, some people are feeding fat on this insecurity of the state, of the country. That is where I begin to question our reasoning. Because it's like you are not reasoning the same way at all. So Bagana Zulum issue actually shook me to my foundation. Actually beat my intellectual sagacity. Actually beat my level of, in fact, information about what's going on in Nigeria. Because I never expected such thing from a person of Bagana Zulu, a well-educated person, a professor for that matter.
Okay, now let's look at moving forward from the state policing being an option on ground at the moment. Talking about centralized and decentralizing policing, which do you think would work best? owing to the fact that Nigeria already operates a centralized police system. Now, would you agree that it is possible that one person can command from the center effectively over 200 million people? Is it possible?
It is practically, let me with emphasis.
Okay.
It is practically impossible, not possible. It is practically impossible.
What's the way forward?
We need to decentralize this thing. Look, America, that we are copying their presidential system of government, coupled with their federalism. Look, it is in this country that we've abused virtually everything. Religion, we abuse them. Democracy, we abuse them. This yes, so we abuse them. There's nothing we've not abused in this country. Nigeria, after the coup or the civil war, the case may be, we did not revert back to the parliamentarism of government, whereby states have the power to control their resources. We now went to America to pick up their present system of government. We brought to Nigeria, we edited it. We did not apply the principle of federalism that America is applying to its letters in their own area. In America, as we went to pick this present system of government, we have LAPD, Los Angeles Police Department, NYPD, New York Police Department, and so on and so forth. Why can't we have Ondo State Police Department? Why can't we have Enugu State Police Department? Rather, everything is centralized in Abuja. This, look, if I'm not mistaken, ever since we've been operating this centralized security architecture and what have you, where has it led us to? We are auxiliating within a circle. It has led us to more insecurity. We should not deceive ourselves. The present IG president of TGDSU, kudos to him, that is taking that step. It did not just take that step. Okay, if you now ask, have you ever, maybe, I don't know, if you are opportune to link to maybe the interviews of more of these security chiefs, they will tell you the Nigerian army is overstretched, the Nigerian Navy is overstretched, the Nigerian police is overstretched. If the Nigerian army, Nigerian Navy, Nigerian, what have you, they are overstretched, then let us have state policing. That's the way forward. Enough of this centralized system of security. It is not working, and as God will have it, Akeredolu, may God continue to rest his soul. He has been able to prove that the centralized security architecture or policing system is the way forward. And that is why we are seeing relative peace here. But unfortunately, it's like the Amoteku we used to know during Akeredolu era. It's not the Amoteku we are having now. And that is where the issue of leadership comes in. That is where the issue of leadership comes in. Let me just pause there for a while. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. The program is still Political Perspective on your darling station, IPA 102.7 FM. And yes, we're talking about insecurity. What else can be done? Looking at the angle of our state policing, looking at the area of decentralizing the police structure. Now to the next, next insight we'll talk about now. Now, looking at, you also said something about the security agencies being overstretched. Now, are security agencies indeed overstretched, or they are just underperforming? Because you would see that our security agencies are they really doing their best under tough condition, or there's just a gap between performance, coordination, and accountability?
Thank you very, very much. Look, there is a link in all these things: performance, accountability, and what have you. There is a link. Now, there was a time some years back. I'm sorry for mentioning the name. A particular TV station rolled out a report about where our Nigerian police goes for their training at Ikeja there. My dear, there is no way somebody will pass through such system and will come out normal. No way. No way. So apart from the fact that probably, okay, what is the ratio of the Nigerian police to the population? It should be ratio maybe 60 to 1 police, but now it is ratio 600 to 1 police. How can we have effective policing? Here that we have, do you know that hardly will you see a police post around this area? I've seen instances where you go and meet the police and they will tell you there is no fuel in their vehicle to follow to where maybe you need their need their assistance or what have you. So of course, the Nigerian police, they are overstretched. They are overstretched. They need more hands. But unfortunately for Nigeria, look, we need to be sincere with ourselves. If today they employ more hands, the system has so much corrupt to the extent that with the level of so much hand there is nothing that can be done. So the issue of accountability does not even come to play here. It is only in Nigeria you see security chiefs, when they are about assuming office, they are slim. When they are living there, they become fat. All the difference. Why in America, I remember vividly when Barack Obama was to be sworn as American president, he was having black hair. Before he left there, his hair turned grey. That is to tell you that those people, they are really thinking of the way forward for their country. But in Nigeria, unfortunately, this is not. When late Bade was handing over the GCFR flag to late President Muhammadu Buhari, if you see his tummy, Buhari shook his head. He was well fed. Late Alex Bade, now he's quite late. But do you know what killed him? He was killed by bandits as well. So at times, the evil we do, that's another topic entirely. But of course, look, when it comes to the issue of maybe overfunding or underfunding, with the present mentality our security architecture now have, like I said, 2.7 trillion. What is the budget of Nigeria? The security is gulping 2.7 trillion. Now, this 2.7 trillion, it does not involve maybe purchase of ammunition, because most of the ammunition they are now making to us free, so to speak. Cash disbursement, 100 billion, maybe every month. 2.7 trillion within 2-3 years. Where are these let us do? Is it not amazing when you see some military, maybe they are brass, because you call them brass military officers. Those are the senior ranking officers. When you see them become millionaire and billionaire, where did they get this money from? Is it from their salary? Is it from their benefit? How much are they being paid that they become billionaire? These are the issues. So what I'm saying, Michelle, is that, look, with the present situation on ground, every person, both politicians, both the military, both political office holders, they now see that, okay, Nigeria issue is a national cake. Go and bring out your knife if you have a knife. If you have cutlass, go and bring if you have a dagger, go and bring it and begin to cut the cake. So the longer or the bigger the knife, the dagger, the cutlass you are holding, that's the length of the cake you're able to cut. So it has got to that extent. So we simply mean that even if today more hands are recruited into the Nigerian police, the existing system, the existing structure, will still not make them to perform as expected. But let me assure you, if today the security architecture is restructured at the level of maybe each state having their own security networks, I can assure you, if for example I'm a police officer, I may find it difficult to collect bribe or to allow maybe criminal to go, because I never can tell. They might end up attacking or kidnapping my family members. Let me tell you something. Do you know that the very minute someone is kidnapped, and maybe they're not going to maybe text, maybe it's WhatsApp and what have you, telling people that they have been kidnapped, your friend that you've known for a very long time, and you now saw that maybe he or she has been kidnapped, you have no choice. And that request may be 100 million naira. If it is 5,000, you have to pay. Because if you see the way they are being treated, they are being flogged naked and what have you.
Okay, now let's take a quick look at the banditry and terrorism. Now, what form do you think would work best? Is it the negotiation or the military force? Now, what I'm asking is this: which one will work when dealing with terrorists and bandits? What is the best approach? Is it a dialogue and negotiation, or a strong military action?
We should be said with ourselves.
Okay.
Dialogue, negotiation doesn't work.
Okay.
These people need strong military action. But the question is this: how sincere are the so-called military? We are in the same country. When 34 Americans came to this country with their laptop and about a drone, and they wanted to go and drop a gas in Sambisa forest, a sleeping gas so that the terrorists everybody can just sleep, and they now go there, take up the shipboard girls and arrest the bandits and arrest the terrorists. Do you realize that when the drone got there to drop the gas, the drone is called having a camera that now transmits to those back in their offices, you understand, the laptop. They discovered that those terrorists were already using nose masks, dragger. Look, with dragger on you, you can run 100 meters conveniently. Dragger nose mask, not this nose mask that are using around here. Dragger it up and you can insulate and maybe breathe. You can breathe in and breathe out conveniently. You even know that you are putting on something. Who gave them that information? How were they able to get those draggers overnight? Each state to have their own security. I don't see this thing working out as we actually want it, because as long as we continue to postpone this issue and what have you, things are getting worse every day. So the best way is for just people to, I don't know, each state should just have security. That's what I can say for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now let's go to the government angle. Now, is political will the missing link, in the sense that some have argued that Nigeria has resources and manpower but lack the political will? So is the political will now the missing link to solving this issue of insecurity?
Of course, we have the resources, both the human and natural resources, to finance security in this country, but the political will is not there, and that is where the problem is. Not until we are determined, not until we are resolute about some of these things, I can assure you we are going nowhere on the issue of insecurity. How do I mean? A leader must be determined. A leader must be intentional. I will always use late Akeredolu as an example. It was as a result of his political will that made him to even stick out his neck for a second term bid in making sure that Amotekun comes to stay. My dear, many governors seeking for second term will not take such risk. But aside that, Samuel Akeredolu was a lawyer, a senior advocate for that matter. He was already a made person. That is why I thank God help us. We should not, I don't know. Somebody that doesn't have the idea of governance should not even be in government in the first place. You know, in the United States, for instance, you can't go become a president. The only time that mistake was made on the issue of Donald Trump, somebody coming from business world became the president. Look at what the result is now. Look at the result. There is no American president that has not, that it must be a governor or a senator, a congressman, before he can become American president, because they know what it means to be an American president. So what I'm saying, is that we must have the political will. If Akeredolu, despite the fact that he was endorsing a second-term ambition, still went out all there in establishing Amotekun that the Attorney General was completely against, and look, we should not deceive ourselves. Madam happened to be one of the most powerful Attorney General in the history of this country, because his principal, the person of Muhammadu Buhari, knows next to nothing. You need to be safe with yourself. He knows next to nothing, and he will be at the mercy and tutelage and the advice of his Attorney General. And that is why look at Malami today. Look at where he's being pushed around for one corruption offense or the other. He became a multi-billionaire overnight, having investment in virtually all sectors, because he was dealing with somebody that knows next to nothing. So, for the person of Akeredolu to have actually challenged the power that be then, it speaks volume about the political will of a leader to actually provide security. I will strongly advise, if you can bring it up, listen to some of Akeredolu's statements on the issue of insecurity. Akeredolu will tell you, we go out there, we can meet them with the bush, we shoot ourselves. Akeredolu, you see, these are the statements that makes morale to be high. The question is this: are we having such statements again? Akeredolu will go to the Amotekun. He will put on his regalia. Till tomorrow, he's being referred to as Generalissimo of Amotekun. At least, ideally, I wouldn't say commonsensically, ideally, the governor that is there now should, to my own understanding, should have taken it off from where Akeredolu stopped. But unfortunately, and I must say this, when the governor went for that personal parade, he went there in Agbada for crying out loud. When your immediate boss happens to go there with his regalia as Generalissimo, who should be the next Generalissimo if not the present governor? But here we find ourselves. So the political will is very much important. Because, like I said, we will look, let everyone fall, we will continue to use the Akeredolu instance as an example, compared with the present government we are having. We are in Ondo State together. So I shouldn't be going to America and using, no. I shouldn't go to Lagos. I shouldn't even go to Ekiti. It is this Ondo State that we find ourselves that I should continue to use as an example. So the political will is the most important thing. The question now is this: the leader that we are having now, do they have the political will? Okay, a former IG just retired in person of Egbetokun. Why didn't he was there for about 2 or 3 hours, I think maybe. Why didn't he push the bill or push a program or push the idea of state policing? But Tunji Disu that got there, barely a month or 2 months, as the case may be, I started making moves. It is the political will. So there is no how lofty the idea might be, even if you don't have it, even if you should call attention to it. The very minute that leader that ought to push it does not have the political will, the idea will die a natural death, and that is what really affected us. So the political will plays the most pivotal role in establishing anything. Most importantly, in bringing about the security of this country.
Okay, let me not cut you short, but let's because of our time. Now, looking at the political will, now coming down to the community security. Now, our local security outfits the future. You've mentioned Amotekun Corps like a countless numbers of time now.
Yeah.
Now, should they be nationally what's it called now? Should they be expanded nationwide, or they should be probably regulated? What is your take on that? Talk on security.
Security is local.
Okay.
We already have one national security architecture. And then the police, army, air force, we already have that. Where has it brought us to? Nothing. So let each state, each communities, look, this thing should trickle down. Nigerian Navy, Nigerian Army, Nigerian Air Force, Nigerian Police, let them continue with their own. Let each state have their own something too. Ondo State Police Department, as the case may be. Ekiti State Police Department, as the case may be. Enugu State Police, Kano State Police Department, let each state have their own. From that state, they've now break it down again to local level, whereby the government equally will be the one to nominate people that will. Thank God, that's what Amotekun is doing now. You understand? So even at the local level, we have the vigilantes now. Are they not performing? How are they encouraging the vigilantes? The vigilantes, most of them are son of the soil. They know how to invoke the god of the land when it gets to, a dicey segment, or as case may be, situation. Let me put it that way. When it gets to a dicey situation, they know how to invoke the god of the land. So security is local. Look, there is no how much we try to paint it. Local in the sense that everybody knows each other. There is a saying that goes thus in Nigeria: say something, say something. There's an instance in Ibadan. In that street, they all agreed that okay, our fence should be about maybe like 3 feet. We should now put iron the whole street. Do you know that you can start from the edge of your house and see the last house in the other street? It's very simple. By the time you begin to suspect any suspicious behavior, you can just call it, and they have their numbers. Can somebody in your house, or did you send anybody to the house? How you say, no, I don't send anybody. Then at least they've caught us there are 3-4 persons. Now an average burglar, let me put that way now knows that place is a no-go area, because you can see any person, any funny movement in the next 10-15 houses from your own house. They've all agreed. So these are the things. There was an instance that somebody was parking TV. They have to call. Share in Kokoro. The person said, I'm not call anywhere. Marion Tombeti kúrò lẹ́yìn, and that was how that person was arrested. It was a burglar. So these are our own ways of security. You don't need to do a fence that you not be like all of Jericho. No, that is an instance. Do you know that they equally agreed? Their same street for the water channel. They all said that okay, let us do a gutter, and they hardly will you see water disturbing them. They all perforated their fences across at the back, so they are living peacefully and enjoying themselves. And everybody knows that street in Ibadan. I won't just mention the particular street. These are the things. So security is local because we all know each other. If you see a strange person, you know that person. So it's very easy for you to call a vigilante. Let me tell you something. Do that. It's easy for you to call a vigilante that's having his number because you're on the same street. Now for you calling maybe those police department. Don't talk of you now calling maybe Nigerian police force. Where do you get that such number? Really? So many numbers have been reeled out, but due to that, there can be because that number may not go through. It's always busy. I have once tried it, always busy. And moreover, by the time you call the same number, okay, let's say 10, 15 people are called the same number. How would they manage such information? So we should not deceive ourselves. Security should be broken down from national to state to local to community level. That is our best. Okay, there's a particular community, and they used to call it this community police, what have you. It's a good one, really. Even let me tell you this, even the Nigerian police themselves, they know that community policing is the way forward because they already have a down association. Maybe they have this community police, what have you, that they can call each other and what have you. But how effective? How effective? So security is local. It should be broken down. It should be completely decentralized. It should not be in the exclusive list alone. It should be both in the exclusive, concurrent, and residual list. Not concurrent for federal government. No, exclusive for federal government, concurrent is for state and federal. While residual for local government. So it should be broken down to that level. That is why I said the other time at the introduction that we will continue discussing this issue of security, because as we are trying to avoid it, unfortunately for us, this issue keeps on coming. Okay, will we now leave security of what comes from? And maybe some people now discover IED, improvised explosive devices in that polling unit a day to that time. Where many people go there and vote? So we should be reasonable. These are leaders that should be reasonable. Security comes first. It is when your place is secured, that is when we come out to vote for you and thank God for INEC. They now have beavers that you cannot, if you are not accredited, you can't vote. So if our leaders are sensitive.
Right about now, we're going to be opening the phone lines so that you can actually share your country. Now, the question we have on the lips of Nigerians, like security in Nigeria, how well do you think state police would improve security? Also, should governors control security in their state? This thing goes down to state policing, as well as our security agencies doing enough. The program is still Political Perspective, and yes, this is iPower 102.7 FM. To reach us on the studio line is 08165524699, 08165524699. Okay, Akin, is there a single solution to solving this issue of insecurity?
Of course, there is
A single solution.
a single solution.
Which is
The political will.
okay.
That's the solution. We should not deceive ourselves. And maybe we should intelligence gathering and drone. Look, they're just rhetorics. The political will. That is the single solution. That is the single solution. And let me tell you this: the very minute that the political will from the national, it will trickle down. Because the president has the power to call to order. If possible, to even withdraw the security vote of any state governor that is not providing security for his persons as expected. And the governor on his own part has the power to call on any local government chairman that is not providing security. Because this money will trickle down. So there is one solution. And the solution is the political will. And it must start from the presidency, from the national level. So all these maybe you can be telling you and provide drone and this one, ensure their life. Those are rhetorics. No matter how much you say all those things, the very minute someone is not the political will, forget it. All those ideas will be hanging on the shelf and just we cover it there. Do you believe that in Nigeria the best ideas are on the shelf? Okay, I must say this. Batin Naji, former Minister for Power, look at the idea that man is having. Look at what he did in his own state, maybe in South, I've forgotten the state, but precisely Southeast. How come we are now having Batin Naji, a professor of maybe electrical engineering, as the case may be? Now we now have a banker as the Minister for Power. That's what I'm saying. Square peg in a round hole. When what will it cost any right-thinking person to consult someone like Batin Naji and still make him the Minister for Power? He had the idea. He knows what he's talking about. He did it and we've seen it. The political will. Innocent is there in the East, assembling vehicle. Our Nigerian government will not patronize. They'll go to China, go and get Toyota. Why can't they go to Innocent and get his vehicle? The political will. The political will. The political will is what somebody like Professor Babagana Zulum is lacking. When you know for yourself that your state, Borno State, is the theater of this insurgents, and when you know for is Babagana Zulum telling you that he's not aware of the wonderful work that the JCF. Why do we have joint task force, joint military task force? Why do we have it? It's because the military themselves knows that without the contribution, without the input of the indigenes, they cannot go anywhere. They cannot make any success in securing their various something. And they now recruited some indigenes, giving them intel. Now that's saying Bagana Zulum now. It's not saying that state are not rep. The political will. So there is a single way out, and the single way out is the political will. So let us forget about the issue of rhetorics or rhetorics of and getting a drone and gathering intelligence no. And the people knows when either the president or the governor is having the political will in securing either the country or the state. The people knows, and the people working with you, they equally know. You are the anchor of this program. It is what you want me to do that I will do. Any attempt for me to drift from what I want to do, you will call me back. But if you deliberately choose to allow me to have this, I will say all manners on this program. And before you are promising, maybe you and I be arrested. So you must have the will, you must be intentional. So there is one solution, and the solution is the political will. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I must say it's a pleasure having you always on the program. And like I always ask again, that if we call you some other time, would you do us the honor of coming on the program?
Of course I will. I'm always ready. Thank you very much.
Okay, like the last thing Akin said, he said the political will. So we employed those in charge to actually look into that, because at the end of the day, the political will prevail and stand us out as Nigerians. Yes, so about wrapping up the program for today, many thanks to Akin Adebayo for always coming. Akin, thank you very much for always honoring us on the program.
It's a pleasure.
Yes, and of course, like I always say, security is not just the responsibility of the government. Yes, it's a collective effort. And of course, leadership, structure, and accountability must lead the way. Nigeria cannot overcome insecurity but only if the right decisions are made at the right time. Yes, emphasis on the right time. So yes, of course, this is a political perspective where we've talked about the issue of insecurity, the solutions, the causes, and the way forward. And I'm going to leave you with the last word of Akin Adebayo. You're talking about the political will, which is what he believes would stand us out as a standing solution to the issue of insecurity. Until I come your way again, many thanks to everyone that has worked with us on this program, and of course to the General Manager, Engineer Paul Olutu. Thank you very much, sir, for the opportunity to the head of programs, the head of news, the ICT, the studio manager, and every other person that always listen to this program, ensuring that yes, they get first-hand information from iPower 102.7 FM. We're saying a very big thank you. Until we come your way again, same time, same station, we implore you to please keep it locked on iPower 102.7 FM as we have a list of educating, entertaining, and informative programs for your listening pleasure. I will tell you